Okay, we are live with, oh God, I don't even know what to call you anymore. Jezebel Grace.
You can go with Jezebel Grace.
Gabby Murray, obviously, but Jezebel Grace is your real name.
That's my real persona.
Star of all things Ren Fair in New England and beyond. You've done New Jersey shows, you've done New Jersey Ren Fairs, you've done Florida Ren Fairs, you've done way more than probably what most people realize.
Yeah, lots of Connecticut. We've done conventions, stuff like that with the Graces.
Yeah, so your main group is the Graces. You sometimes do it under different names based on legality and whatever. But regardless, Jezebel Grace, expert in all things Ren Fair, I wanted to talk to you because Ren Fairs are huge. They've gotten bigger in New England, and with everything COVID, social distancing, everyone's worrying, not knowing what the hell's going to happen. So I figured you'd be the perfect person to just talk to about what is going on, what isn't going on, and what's the first one that I guess is coming up that's actually gonna try to do it and be as close to traditional Ren Fair.
So the Connecticut Renaissance Fair, which is our home fair, the owners are fantastic people. They were trying their hardest to make it open and make it work, but in the end, it ended up with all the restrictions. Like you already have so many people on site between the the merchants, performers, all the staff. It pretty much took up the capacity, so it kind of just
fizzled.
Yeah, but they really tried. They did their best to take care of everybody because all the Ren Fair performers are feeling it. A lot of them are doing online stuff, which is really cool.
So are there any that's going to happen that you know of?
Not around here. There is one that we got invited to do. We're not able to do it because the two other girls can't do it. But there's one in Myrtle Beach that we got invited to do, and they're going. That's in November. So far, they're going. So I wish we could do it. I really miss it.
So what's happening with online stuff? Like how are they converting? Because the big thing with these acts are, so you're a part of the Graces. They're basically a singing comedy wench show.
Yeah.
Hilarious. And the crazy thing is, like, you guys might translate well to something online, but like the whip guy or the mud shows or the fire shows. What's the name of that? You knew the young lady who I saw doing a fire show in the winter in
Sasha
Worcester.
the Fire Gypsy.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Say her name again.
Sasha the Fire Gypsy.
Yeah,
she was Fire Gypsy Productions.
Yeah, she was amazing. She let me film some of her stuff, and that was kind of ad hoc.
Yeah.
A hula hoop on fire that she just like
awesome.
flips around.
Yeah, she's a really cool chick too. She's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, something like that I think might be cool as a novelty because you could do it at night and maybe you could do it online live and maybe take requests. But
yeah, I think she's been doing some stuff on TikTok. I've definitely seen her pop up a few times, and I'm pretty sure all of them have kind of developed this new way. It's cool. It's kind of cool. It sucks that we can't do the Ren Fairs, but it's kind of cool because the art form of performing is kind of evolving because we're restricted to having to do it through a screen, not really seeing an audience we can connect with. So
yeah, you're kind of forced to, I know, I heard that, don't worry. You're kind of forced to innovate. And so who else is doing stuff?
So one of my favorites is, and I love them all, is Shakespeare Approves, Your Friendly Neighborhood Shakespeare. He does full productions of Shakespeare stuff with a full cast through via Zoom. I think he just did one. It's amazing stuff. And then he kind of just does so many different videos. He's got so much cool stuff. He's so charismatic. He is Shakespeare, his show live, he does a lot of singing, and it's really cool stuff. And he has people come up and reenact parts, and he's just a great guy, and he's a great performer, and he's really taken to the online performing life.
Awesome. And I'll link everyone that I can when we post this.
Yeah.
It's funny because like I've been starting to, as we're starting to, fall's right around the corner and people are starting to say, oh God, what are those fall activities going to be like now?
I
And
know.
obviously Ren Fair is a big one. I've been talking to a lot. One of the people I'm working with who owns a winery and a vineyard wants to do something. And I think stuff like that, he wants to do it like socially distanced and basically have people go on, just perform in set spots.
Yeah.
Because obviously you can't do things like take tips and stuff. And
I know. I had a whole plan for the Connecticut Renaissance Fair to have like mannequins to take tips for us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
I'm kind of bummed it didn't work out.
if you're not aware, the Graces generally have contests of whose cleavage can hold the most tips.
Yeah.
One of the things I'm always like, oh, come on. Like,
I know.
You guys love to make people blush.
People are
any
like,
way you
for
can.
real? And we're like, oh yeah. We're wenches. Come on.
And like the funniest thing is you three are like the most like calm, quiet, normal people. But like all of a sudden you're performing and you turn into the character.
Yeah.
But to have mannequins, that's brilliant. I never even thought of that.
Yeah.
Although that's probably still going to be an issue because the same people would be touching the same mannequin.
Well, I figured I'd put like a layer of like a plastic sheet over it, like saran wrap.
You really thought this out.
I really thought this out. I really did. Or some kind of plastic that I could spray so that, I was trying to figure it out. It's hard.
Yeah.
I have like a hand sanitizer pump next to it.
Money in and of itself is always dirty, but I guess I read somewhere that money's starting not to be as dirty because fewer people are using it. Like everyone's just using cards.
Yeah, I never thought of that. That's definitely true.
There was that old saying that in the 80s, any bill that was rolled at all had cocaine on it. All this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Not the case now.
No.
So yeah, this guy, he keeps mentioning it, and I just keep thinking in terms of like, there's got to be a way to do it because people are starved for stuff. I was talking to a restaurant owner, and she said my takeout business has like quadrupled.
Oh yeah.
She's like, more people are taking out than were actually coming in initially.
Yeah.
So there's got to be ways around it. So is there any? So who else is doing stuff? Who else is innovating or trying to?
Daniel GreenWolf. He's the Celtic magician. He runs is part owner, something like that, of the Midsummer Fantasy Renaissance Fair that we usually do in June, which got canceled.
And that's the one in, where is it, Leominster?
No, it's in oh, you made me forget.
I know.
Crap. What's the name of it? I know this.
Sterling.
It's in Connecticut. Somewhere.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, what's the one that was in Massachusetts? Hold
on. Let me look it up on my map because it's Warsaw Park, because I always put that in when I go. It's got kind of a funny name. Ansonia.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
oh my God, my brain just like.
So even that one got.
Yeah. Yep. They would, everybody, tried their hardest to open, but there's only so much you can do.
So I would have figured with all the space that you might have been able to like maybe do. Yeah, I mean it's hard. Like you've seen a lot of I don't know where they are, but you've seen pictures of these big fields where public parks or whatever, where they put yellow circles out, and they basically said if you want to come and picnic, one party per yellow circle. And then they distance them properly, and then you're outside. As soon as you get there, you sit down and then get rid of the, you can take your mask off while you sit and enjoy whatever. I would think something like that could be done. I mean, it's not going to be anywhere near as grandiose as what you guys had been doing, but
I think what would be possible most is like a Ren Fair concert, basically, kind of like, or in theory, you also have other acts that aren't musical, and so it's sort of like a Ren Fair performance, like if we could get that together. You know, I've noticed a lot of people performing at drive-ins, which is genius.
Well, because they already have the speaker system set up.
Yeah,
everyone's in their cars, so they're already distanced and separated.
We're all in our little pods.
Yeah. You have one camera that you then project to the big screen. I mean, you could technically set that up anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, like the Kowloon.
Now I'm getting curious. I'm like,
Well, I guess the biggest thing is just making the numbers work, dollars and cents wise, for the rental of the space.
Yeah, exactly.
Paying the performers. Because, like, the biggest problem is, I mean, the ones who really get screwed are the vendors, you know?
Yeah, there's so many vendors that are just like one of my good friends, Louisa, she runs Threads of Time, which you can find at King Richard's Fair. Normally, most people know it. It's kind of a staple. You know, this is rough. All of our fair, you know, so many merchants that I know, it's just, I want to help them all, you know?
Well, like, there's so many, like, the people that do the Harry Potter wands. Those, I think I saw them at the Rhode Island one. I mean, intricate. I couldn't, but like, some of these things were better quality than what you see at Universal in Harry Potter World or whatever the hell they call it.
So there are a couple groups where the merchants have been posting stuff. So I'll give you some of the links for that if you like, because a lot of the merchants are posting their wares, you know, like it's an RPG, and it's great stuff, and you get to, you know, see. You know, you go around the fair, you might not notice the name of the merchant that you're at, not necessarily, but you'll be like, this place is great. Going through this group, you'll be able to see that and communicate with them and get some of the cool stuff. I've seen so much cool stuff. I want it all.
Well, it's also, I mean, a lot of the stuff is very easy to ship. It's small, you know, relatively small. It's not like you're buying a chair or a table.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's so what are people like? What are people do? What are these acts doing now? Like, are they looking to do Halloween stuff? Is like, because I know usually Ren Fair leads right into Halloween, and so a lot of people get to whatever, you know.
Yeah, Connecticut usually has a Hocus Pocus act and a Halloween party in the last weekend. I don't know. I was thinking about Salem and everything. I'm like, I'm assuming people are going to be there performing, but like, if I were to perform somewhere, you know, I'd want to make sure that it was guaranteed that we'd be distant from the
masses.
You know. Yeah, exactly. I'd want that. So I feel like crowded places like you normally would find, it might be a little hard to get that unless you have a stage.
That's a really good point, though. What the hell's going to happen to Salem?
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. It's going to be like Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Well, because there's a few places that like
that was dark.
Yeah, well, the Roger Williams Park Zoo they usually do the really amazing and detailed pumpkins that they light up, and then there's a walkthrough, and they're now doing it as a drive-through experience.
They are?
Yeah, but
I just turned into Giselle so bad to see that. I was like,
you're like, oh. But the problem is it's like $50 a car.
Oh, yikes!
Which is fine if you have 4 people and 12.50. You know, you can do it, and you're all looking out a window and whatever. But like,
yeah, I've noticed most drive-ins have like a 5-person limit. I saw Dinosaur Jr. is performing. It's like a band from the 90s, and like the tickets were exorbitantly expensive.
Yeah. You know what else? A lot of comedians are doing drive-ins too.
Eliza Schlesinger just did one. My friend Mickey went to go see her. Lily Grace.
Yes, Lily Grace.
One of the owners of the Rhode Island Renaissance Fair, which also couldn't open this year.
Yeah. She needs to stop changing her name on Facebook, because like all of a sudden I see a different name and I'm like, I don't know this person.
Week.
And I'm like, oh, that's her. Yeah.
Yeah, that's her drag name now. So.
But
we all wear lots of hats.
I know, but she's not. Okay, whatever. I'm not even going to get into it.
It's called a Fab Queen.
I am not peeling that onion. Okay.
Yeah, no, we don't need.
That is not an onion we need to peel.
I will even admit there's a lot around that we don't need to touch on because it's not our place.
No, but it is good. Like, I mean, I remember you guys, and a lot of like Ren Fair acts do things like Victorian carolers. You know, you get those outfits. You do St. Patrick's Day. You have various different shows that usually keeps you guys going throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I'm thinking, like, with these Ren Fair acts, I'm like, man, like, everyone who usually gets their fix of, you know, drinking a couple of meads and listening to crazy singing wenches, like, it's gonna be hard to do, and anyone that figures it out is gonna, you know,
I'll tell you, trying to sing together on Zoom does not work. Because it comes in like when we're doing it, it sounds fine. It might work on Zoom. We got to test that out. I have like another thing I got to try out. But if you try to get together on like Zoom and then go live on Facebook or something and sing together, to us it sounds fine, and to the audience it is the most. It's like a cacophony of disaster. It's crazy. I'm waving my hands in the camera. Like, what am I doing?
It's the reason why I try not to talk when, like, you know, it's just natural for you to go, yeah. I try not to do that on Zoom because, you know, it clicks one mic to the other back and forth and mutes the other one. I hate that. But yeah, I totally know what you're saying. Damn, it's. Have you guys thought of, or has anyone like just recorded anything or started recording stuff and throwing it up?
There's a group called the Penniless Jacks who are really good friends of ours, and they've done some really good online stuff. They got together, they all wear their masks, and they did some music, and they've been posting stuff. I think Shelli Buttons, who's another performer, she does this thing where she puts out a bunch of glass bottles, like a glass beer bottle, and she walks across them. Like, she's awesome, and she does aerial stuff. She's really cool.
Wow.
Ariel, yeah, she's amazing.
You mean Little Mermaid or Sky?
No, like with like the like the, you know, the I don't want to say ropes, but I can't think of the word right now.
I got a 2.5-year-old little girl, so like that's my mindset now has to go like, are you talking about a princess or are you talking about literal?
Right, exactly. Ariel clicks up automatically as a Little Mermaid.
Yeah, exactly.
What, Little Mermaid, Sebastian, Flounder, Ursula? Pitchfork.
Yes. Yeah.
It's actually a trident. I like to call it a pitchfork.
Yeah, because technically Hades had 2 prongs, not 3.
Yeah. But the Penniless Jacks have done some great stuff. Hildebrand Magic, which is my good friend Cody Hildebrand. I think he's got some actual like shows coming up online. He's great. He kind of does like stand-up magic. He's really funny. He's one of those people who just like is just naturally funny and just has that great charisma. Really cool.
Like the
guy.
Amazing Jonathan type of stuff.
Yeah, kind of. He's I'm trying to look at. Oh yeah, let's search out. I'll send you links to all these guys. There's Lord of Adventures. I'm not sure what they're doing online. They're really great guys.
I love the names of all these.
I know. Lords of Adventures do really great stuff. And TJ, one of them, has like another band. He runs a dojo. Like, he's doing all kinds of stuff. So, you know, they're really cool. But they also have it. I'm just mentioning this because it is cool at the fair. They have this thing called Dice Nights where it's like a live action, like D&D kind of deal. Like, it's really cool. It's really interactive for like kids and stuff.
So you just brought up a good point. So is anything in New Hampshire going on, since they're one of the states that, well, they have like no cases and they've opened up a lot?
Yeah, no, the New Hampshire Renaissance Fair is in like early or like mid-May, I want to say. So they had to cancel because that was like in the midst of. Right.
So, but they didn't try to do something in the fall?
No, I think they're just waiting till most of them are just waiting until next year because it's hard to reschedule and nobody's sure about what's going to happen in the fall. It's sort of all up in the air because it's such a like interactive outdoor like thing. Like, people are close together. It's like a big crowd situation. So it's kind of like a music festival in a way, but like, you know, with meat and people in Viking helmets.
It's sad. It's sad because like people need that outlet. Like people need these releases. Like especially for you, the performers. I know a lot of times you schedule your whole year around it.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out stuff to do online with the Graces, and Nikki, Lily, Justice, whatever you want to call her. She and I go. We like to do our makeup together and go live on Facebook and just talk. And, you know, basically our show is just, we don't have a script. It's just us being us. So it's basically the same thing. But I'd like to figure out, you know, we're working on trying to figure out something we can do that's like more musically, whether we have to pre-record it or if we can do it live, you know, try to figure out some stuff to put out, especially now that we're heading towards Connecticut, which is like our big fair. That's our, you know, that's our family. That's our home. So
I love the fact, so like people don't, so just to give people background, obviously you guys have been around for a while.
Yeah, like, I think 12 years now.
Yeah, well, I think beyond that, because I remember seeing you guys, and then I had a coworker at the time, and she's like, she was like, I think she saw The Big Bang Theory and saw a Ren Fair, and she's like, I want to go, like one of these people. And I'm like, oh, dude. So her and her boyfriend at the time, I'm like, all right, I'll take you down. Mm-hmm. And because they're like, where is it? And oh, Carver, that's so far away. And it's like, you're from Wilmington. Carver's really not that bad.
Carver is like, it's like, I don't know what it is. It's like the mists of Avalon surrounded. Everybody's like, that's so far.
Well, now that I live in Bridgewater, it's 15 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Like, I'm really pissed this year. I'm like, really? It's 15 minutes away and I can't go. I brought her and her boyfriend at the time down, and we were literally listening to your songs on YouTube in the car on the drive down. And then and then we got there and we grabbed a map, and everyone's names are different, so it wasn't called you were called the Vixens of Venice that time.
Yeah,
we didn't know that.
Yeah,
we thought you were the Wishing Well.
The Washington Lynches.
And so we saw that, and they saw it, and they're like, yeah, that was okay, but that wasn't that's not the right one. We want the crazy ones. And I'm like, oh God. And I'm like, well, there's another one at like 3:15, and they're like, yeah, let's go to that.
Yeah. You ask somebody and they went, it's two girls screaming hysterically at each other for half an hour on stage.
And then they're like, as soon as we went to the first show, they're like, all right, we need to go back. And I'm like, well, they're performing 3 more times, but it's the same show. And they're like, I don't care. We have to go back to every single one of them. And so we ended up following you guys.
You do change it up.
Sometimes. No, you do. But it was before I really like knew you, before we were on the radio together or whatever. And I was standing in, so they wanted to they wanted the full experience. They're like, we're gonna sit in the front, and I'm like, fuck that. I'm gonna stand in the back and hide.
Oh, we can swear? I've been trying so hard not to swear.
Well, no, I shouldn't have swore, but I don't know. I still don't
beep
know.
It out with a car horn.
I don't know. Yeah, I'll go back because I'll post edit, but like I don't know if they're gonna do anything or whatever.
Yeah.
But I figured to hide in the back, and you guys were upstage, and whatever, the blonde one decided to say something crazy and make some joke about you talking in Klingon, and then you swore in Klingon, and I immediately laughed, and I was like, oh shoot, I knew. And then you both like looked at me like,
it was like we zeroed in on you. We told people that story so many times because it was one of those laughs where you're just like, ha.
Yep. Well, it's unexpected that you hear patak coming out of like a Venetian dress, whatever. And and then of course my coworker Colleen at the time, she was like that's all she talked about for like every time I see her. She's like, remember that time? I'm like, yeah, I remember that time. But, just talk. It speaks to how like crazy it is, because like like you guys have that effect and people talk about that stuff forever. Like I've had other people who are like, do you know this act? Like my beer friend, what's her name? Yeah, EJ.
Yeah, she's great.
And she followed you guys, I think it was last year, to the Connecticut Ren Fair because it was the closest one, and she missed you guys in when you were in Massachusetts. She drove all the way down there and then starts messaging me on Instagram, hey, look who I'm hanging out with drinking beer. And I'm like, oh my God, like randomly. I'm like, of course.
I love that when worlds collide.
Oh yes. Well, they constantly do. Or even when we were on the radio and your friends, I forced you to do one of the promo commercials and your friend's mom heard you.
Ooh, I don't remember that. What happened?
You said I think you had a friend in Tingsboro and she was driving with her mom.
Yes. A friend posted on Facebook. She's like, I'm pretty sure I just heard, Gabrielle Jezebel Grace, whatever. And I was like, yay!
It's life. It's the way it
happens. My awkward read.
It wasn't awkward. It was good. But
I'm like ASMR when I do ads. I'm like, do you like macaroni? Macaroni.
But it is funny. Like you've done a lot of podcasts, obviously, and like when we were doing radio, it was so structured. It was almost limiting. Like you can only talk for 8 minutes, and it's got to be structured. It's you only have 8 segments of 8 minutes or whatever, and everything has to be planned out. And it's
like a 16-pound cat and a 2-pound box.
Yeah. Bouncing around constantly. Yep. But it's not, it's so restricting. Like this is so much better. Like I know. I still can't believe how easy this is and how just people appreciate this just as a medium,
Yeah, it's great because people need connection right now, and getting to hear something where you feel like you've known people, it's comforting.
Well, also the longer people listen, the more they get the vibe of who's talking. So
yeah,
you're also in a bunch of bands. Have you been able to do anything with bands? I mean,
no, I'm in a reggae band. No. Because we got to practice, and practice was indoors, and one of my guitarist's wife, if she cannot get COVID, get COVID, so
high risk,
very really high risk. So we haven't been able to do anything, and I am bummed. I miss it so much because normally we played 2 festivals last summer.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. It was a lot of fun. We played some other little shows, and I really miss it, The last show we played, I think, was in February, so I kind of lucked out that it was at least that recent.
I think reggae is one of those styles that it doesn't matter whether you're a famous band or just starting. Everyone's it's just a laid back.
Yeah, I've always said you can't be mad or sad when reggae music is playing.
No, you just chill the hell out.
Yeah, I've always loved it since I was little, so it was really cool to be part of a reggae band. So I'm looking forward to hopefully, getting back to that at some point.
Have you
Whoa, there's a dinosaur outside.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Have you done? Yeah. Did you get hit with the wind earlier? That crazy wind.
Oh yeah. We got hail.
Our tree got ripped in half.
What?
Yeah.
It's the entrance to Oz over there.
Yeah. No, it was ridiculous. I went out with the dog after and I looked and I'm like, the tree was just ripped in half, and luckily everything fell out to the street.
Oh my God. Yeah. My old house, my first house, we had this massive tree in the front yard, and we had Hurricane Bob hit. And I remember we were all just sitting there watching the tree like, please don't hit.
Well, I think what this is, it hit so fast and so hard that there wasn't time for it to,
Yeah.
But it was crazy. It was crazy to see. And it just came out of nowhere. And then I was talking to a few people in Boston. They got nothing at all.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. I noticed that. Yeah. I have a couple other friends who they didn't get anything. We got ours earlier in the day, and it was hail. They were hail the size of quarters. I mean, it was decent size, but it wasn't hail. I would call it more sleet or whatever people call it. like Frozen Rain.
One of the things I keep meant like in my head to ask you, have you seen Hamilton?
Yes.
Oh my God. Like if you if we were to write a musical, that's what it would end up being.
I know, right? It
like,
absolutely would.
You have these like two crazy worlds collide in this amazing piece of like just awesomeness.
Right.
But I couldn't believe how good it was because obviously as soon as it came to Disney Plus, then I got to see it.
Yeah.
And
I may have seen it on an app before that, but
illegally downloaded or whatnot.
Yeah.
But it was.
I got my musical theater connections.
Yeah, but it was. I was totally and you were one of the first people I thought of. I'm like, oh my God, I had to talk to her about this because just of how well it was done, how they used like different styles for each character, and
it's accurate. Like there's so much accuracy to it. I played it for my dad, who's a huge history buff, and he was just like beaming because like they would say stuff and he'd be like, that's blah blah blah, you know what I mean? Like he'd just get excited about it.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
I was talking to my dad about it last week, and he was like, "Oh, they put that in there. Oh, they put that in there," and I'm like, "Yeah, they did a good job.
It's really good." And
I still don't understand why Thomas Jefferson had Eminem's rapping style. Like, there were certain things that were just like, okay, I can understand. Oh, you want to bring them in.
He was also Lafayette, and Thomas Jefferson. He actually has
David.
He has like a music project that's really bizarre and cool and just like artistic. I can't remember the name right now, but I was listening to it the other day because I was a friend of mine and I sent each other music, and it was one of the things that I got sent. It was really good, surprisingly. But he does have that kind of like flapping around like a napkin, like that kind of style.
Yeah. But it just, you're right. Every single person in that was just amazing, and they all had I was reading a couple of things. They all had been around for a while, but they had never clicked on any one thing. Yeah. And this just happened to click for all of them.
Yeah.
But one of the, obviously I have to bring in the Disney angle. The original king is also the voice of Kristoff for Frozen.
Yep, he was also in Glee.
And I was just gonna say he, originally Glee. But like it's crazy, like looking at that guy's career to see his arc. And I know, he's got range. He's got such range.
He really does. And he like his song in Hamilton is so good. The way he does it, it's perfect. Like it's so good.
Have you listened to the other actors who did the king part?
No.
So
I haven't looked anybody else up.
Well, Are they good? Yeah, they're all good. I don't know why. I'm just gonna keep calling him Kristoff. Because that's who he is. But Kristoff,
Jonathan Groff.
Yes, Jonathan Groff. Yes, because he's Groff Sauce. That's his nickname all over social media. Groff Sauce. Yeah. So he was the first one, and I guess there's been 5 who've done the king's part. But Groff, for whatever reason, when you watch his performance, like he takes every single line and plays it straight, but plays it like with a little bit of madness, and then the rest of them kind of play it up comedically, which is totally fine, and they do a good job. But Groff's performance of you can listen to each line and say, oh, he's channeling Freddie Mercury. Oh, he's channeling Elton John from the 70s. Oh, he's channeling Elton John from the 80s. Oh, that's a little British Invasion. Oh, that's a little David Bowie. It's amazing how good he is. He's a fantastic
performer, and he commands the entire stage, standing completely stock still right until the end of the song when he starts pulling his little shoulder thing.
And I guess the other ones, and you can look these up on YouTube just to see the differences, but like the other ones play it a little bit more energetic, but he doesn't need to. He really doesn't need to.
No, he's amazing. Like I saw him a while ago because stuff on YouTube, and I was just like blown away by that. And that song is great. That song and The Room Where It Happens.
Oh my God,
The Room Where It Happens is my favorite song in the whole show. Like that song is freaking amazing. It makes me want to dance.
It stands out for me too, just because I dealt with it.
Yeah.
But I also like It Must Be Nice.
Oh yeah. And of course, I like Satisfied and like, you know, the Schuyler sisters and stuff. I'm a fan of Angelica. She's awesome.
Even the actor that, and again, obviously, I don't know all the damn actors because whatever. But the actor that played Aaron Burr is just, he's another one that just totally stands out. How through the whole play, he always has a smile on his face. Like he stays in character.
He's amazing.
Even when he's acting as the narrator.
Yeah.
He's still doing that whole.
He still has the same, like, you know, kind of stiffness that he has throughout the whole thing. But it's like stiff and proper and pleasant.
Yeah.
Which is kind of was his thing.
Yeah. I wasn't surprised that it was good. I was surprised at how good it was, and that it, as much praise as it got, it really should have got more.
Yeah.
Especially, man, like
the sound balance wasn't that great. I noticed the soundtrack definitely sounds better. Some of the harmonies like were there, but they weren't loud enough in some parts, and I was like, come on, I know how pretty this part is.
It was because they wanted it to feel like a stage experience.
Yeah.
For the Disney Plus recording, and they recorded. I think they recorded 3 shows back to back to back.
Yeah.
And they then spliced them all together, but they took the best audio from each one. But they wanted it to feel like you were in an audience, so they didn't want it perfect.
Yeah.
And also because you know as well as I do, there's going to be a movie version. There's going to be a theatrical, actual, like, it's just too hot not to. And especially since they released this on Disney Plus, they got to release it. You know, they need a real release once theaters are back and up and running.
I love Lin-Manuel Miranda. His name is really hard to say. Oh my God.
Did you see the Weird Al polka version?
No.
You haven't seen it. Oh my God. And it's about, it was like exactly 1 year old, I think. And it was 1 year old as of he released it on the 4th of July last year.
Yeah.
And Lin-Manuel blah blah. He did a reaction video the first time he listened to it. His wife recorded him listening to it, and he was just blown away by it. And you got to just read the YouTube comments are just absolutely. They're like, you know, a lot of them were things like, you know, Weird Al Yankovic has been relevant for 40 years. No, you know, he's been more relevant than the people who he've riffed on. Like crazy. And then they did, I don't know when, but there's another video on YouTube where Weird Al's playing the accordion and Lin-Manuel, blah, 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 blah. I just don't want to get it wrong. So he's rapping freestyle to Weird Al playing the accordion. Like, it is the best. It is like you just geek out and just enjoy it.
Yeah, I gotta see that.
But so the beauty is with Weird Al's polka version, he does a polka version.
Yeah.
And then someone took all the video from the Disney Plus version and edited it and fixed the timing. So
God.
When you see it, you're gonna flip out.
Yeah.
Flip out. I can't believe you haven't seen it. I figured you would have loved that.
I think I've like seen it, but I was like, I'll watch that later, and then I just forget because I get distracted because I'm like a little kitten. I'm like, shiny thing, and I just run away.